welcome to one of my podcasts, Fireside Chat. Today I'm honored to have a gentleman that I connected with straight away. He came to one of my seminars, I think about 3-4 months ago.
2 months, I think.
2 months ago. And no, it was longer than that. Time's been flying by, yes. It was last year.
Yeah.
Last year. And I truly fell in love with this guy. He's a lawyer, and you're going to tell me what kind of lawyer. But normally when it comes to lawyers, I don't... it's not very motivating to sit down with them because one, they argue for a living. Two, they're not the most they're not the most optimistic people. But when I met yourself, is that I felt I got someone who's actually an entrepreneur. He's an optimist, gets the mind of an entrepreneur, okay, and he's an amazing lawyer. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Arash Zad into our little office, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a good feedback I got from you right now. It's quite an honor.
You can write me the check later.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm going to hand it over under the table.
Exactly. Welcome, welcome. So you're also Iranian born like myself, yes?
Yes.
How long have you been in Dubai, and what brought you here?
I was raised in Dubai. So I was in this country for my whole life. I've been to Iran. I graduated from law school in Iran, but then I came back to Dubai.
So when you say home, where is home to you?
A very good question. In my opinion, home is where you feel safe, you feel belonged. Obviously, because I spent most of my time here in this country, I felt safe in this country, and this country actually given me so many things in return. So I feel this place as my home. Yet I belong to a different country as well. So Iran is where I come from.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah,
I felt the same. People say, where are you from? Like, well, I lived in England 30 years. I've been here 10 years. I lived in Iran 11 years. What am I? And I used to go on personal development courses, and my nickname, coincidentally, was always Lost.
Oh, okay.
Lost. I was like, maybe I am lost, you know? Maybe, but now I think we're all global citizens, don't you think?
We are. That sense of belonging is becoming less important as we are going forward. It's where you live. At the end of the day, it's where you live.
Where you're comfortable, where you feel safe.
Comfortable, exactly.
Yes, I think we're blessed to be here, especially
100%.
Now. I don't know when this podcast is going to be launched, but we're going through the coronavirus situation at the moment. What have you noticed, unfortunately, and our wishes go to the people who are sick or who've got friends and family who are sick or unfortunately may have passed away. Now, what have you noticed? I've been kind of looking at the human psychology of it all, and I felt like at the beginning, people were saying, I don't mind, it's such percentages, me included, it's so low, I'll go out. Over the last 2 weeks, I've noticed that there's lots of anger towards the people who go out. They're saying that you could be the spreader instead of the guy who's not worried about receiving it or being infected. So it's interesting how many people have changed the way they think when it comes to the coronavirus. What's your opinion?
Well, the first thing that I notice is most of these negative actions or reactions that you see in people comes from one single thing, and that's fear. Fear of the unknown, something that is not known to them. They automatically, by default, they start being afraid of. So whatever increases the chances to increase this fear level in them, they will hate it and they will show reactions to it.
Yes.
So a live example of what you just said, people are showing bad reactions to people that they are just outside, they are in the streets walking or doing whatever, but they don't know what's the reason this person is out. Is he really an ignorant person that he doesn't care about the situation and he's out? Or do you know that he's not out searching for medicine or going to a doctor or conducting something very necessary? So we cannot, of course, judge people. We should not judge, and we have to practice on something that I really, really value, and that's kindness.
Love and kindness.
We should value that, right? Yes. This is the time.
This is that we need it most.
This is the time that we will show what we are carrying inside.
Yes.
This is where we have to be kind toward other people and try to avoid this kind of prejudgments.
You're so right. Yeah, here's an interesting part, because there's going to be a link to the law.
Yeah.
Because when that person is in the house looking at the guy walking outside or the girl walking outside, they make a judgment.
Immediately.
So in their own world, it's reality, but it could be furthest away from reality. When it comes to law, I guess you can never, although you're my lawyer, I'm your client, you're going to serve me, but you're going to be unattached emotionally. So when you listen to my argument, you don't see it the way necessarily I see it, because in an argument, I'm always right and my opponent's always right.
True.
So what's the skill you use to stop yourself getting emotionally attached to the argument? So when you advise me, it's independent and not what I want to hear. Am I making sense? Because I think when I speak to you, you tell me what is real. Because some cases you say,
so true,
good chance of winning, not good chance of winning.
Yeah. So in my opinion, that's one of the skills that every single lawyer should have, and that is being detached from emotion when they're sitting and listening to the client, and listening it from a very neutral position. Not being, okay, we are human beings at the end of the day, although we are lawyers, but we are human beings, right?
Almost.
Bit higher, but yeah. So when we are sitting with the client, we need to practice this. Of course, we have practiced this prior to becoming a lawyer. But then when we are sitting, we need to make sure that we will not be carried away with emotions. We will not be affected by negativity or positivity, because none of them will help us in having a very accurate judgment or understanding of the situation. By practicing that, we will create basically a thin wall, not a very thick one, between what's happening outside and what's happening internally. Like that, we can think without being affected by the current situation.
Because your client may feel hard done to, feel sad or resentful.
In most cases, yes.
Yes, but then you can't put your hand on the shoulder and say, oh, I feel sad for you, I'm going to defend your emotions. You got to look at it from a very methodical way, law.
We show some sympathy, of course. That's being human. But when it comes to our job and our profession, is the reason that a client is sitting in a meeting with me and paying me money to give him consultation is because he wants someone who's looking at this situation from a perspective, and not someone who is down there with him or her that feels the same way that he or she feels. So they want actually someone from outside who is neutral, can look at it, guide them, and show them the way out of that situation that they are. So obviously, if we are not in that position, we won't be able to give our 100%, or at least what is expected from us as a lawyer to give.
Amazing. And thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So what's when somebody comes to you, in your mind, because accountants are 10 to a dozen, sales and marketing coaches, life coaches, lawyers, if you don't mind me saying, what do you think when you wake up in the morning, you think, like, this is why I'm different to anybody else in the marketplace? This is why Arash is unique.
Arash is unique, sitting in Be Unique's company, right?
Exactly. There's a bit of a punt there, yes?
Yeah. Okay, if we are trying to go there, it's a very, very sensitive topic for me, because, Dariush, I'll be very honest with you, I never felt that there is anything unique in me. I felt that whatever I'm doing, any other lawyer is doing for many years. But that didn't last long. One day I woke up and I asked this question of myself. And I felt a very, very deep conflict, if you will. The conflict that I felt was between two things. Number one, why did I sign up for being a lawyer? Is this what I had in mind when I decided to fight everything? Because I had a very, very tough situation. It's a long conversation, yeah?
I'll come to that later.
Okay. I think we cannot cover it in one session, though. So I had to fight a lot in order to become a lawyer.
Yes.
So I had some desires, I had some objectives, some goals in mind, some love and passion to be a lawyer. What I am doing right now, is this what I signed up for? The answer was clear, no. That's the moment I felt the conflict, that it's not helping me.
Yes.
What is so unique about what I'm doing? What is it that I feel good about it? Yeah, I was a lawyer. They were telling me you're a successful lawyer, you're doing good, but that was not helping me at all. That was the time, that was the eye-opening question that I asked myself. And then right after that, I decided to change my path. And literally that change my whole life. And I started a path which I am in right now, 2 years back, after that realization. The way that I can answer your question is like this. Being a lawyer is not just about taking on clients, protecting them, defending them, guiding them, and etc. We have to be a human being first. We have to practice so many things, including kindness and sympathy with people, which it's a topic that you don't see that much nowadays, unfortunately. And third is the service. What are we giving back to the society? It's too greedy and self-oriented way of thinking that we just have to take from the society without giving anything back. That's where I try to make a change. That's where I try to be a different person. I'm not a unique. I will not call myself unique because there are plenty of other people that are doing the same thing. But at least doing something that makes me happy internally. That's where I decided to start this path of helping people on social media and try to educate as much as I can, free of charge, free of any consideration. Just put it out there, things that other lawyers are not doing so, or at least most of them. That's why I'm getting so many negative also feedbacks that, hey, why you are doing this? I do this. Unfortunately,
people in the same line of business
industry.
It's interesting because the consumers love you, and I think when I think when you get negativity from your peer group, it's because they wish they'd done it themselves or they'd done it first.
Yeah.
And it highlights because if you were I was in your peer group, I'd be thinking, good on you, you're educating the public, because from my opinion, the perception of lawyers is not very positive.
That's what I'm trying to change.
Exactly. So you actually paving a market. You can't deal with tomorrow with 2,000 clients landing on your lap, right? But there's going to be 2,000 people watching you this evening. So they're going to go to their lawyers a little bit more lives enhanced and more educated because of your seminars, because of your live events.
That's true.
In my opinion.
What I do is I believe in this path or this mission that I started. I believe in 3 things. Yeah. Number one is, these are my slogans as well. So I say that I'm here to make law sound simple. One of the things that I
it's
encounter.
a very long slogan.
It is.
I need to work with you.
You have to work on this.
I'm here.
I'm here to make law sound simple. Yeah.
That's a very complicated sentence to make it sound simple. I'm like,
that's what you can do for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
change this. Shorten the slogan.
Yeah.
When it comes to slogans, do you know you have to try to make it rhyme?
I don't know. You need to
I'll
tell me about that.
Done. It has to be short and rhymeful, so people remember it easier.
Okay.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. So what I hear from people like yourself or
what's your other slogan?
We're gonna come to that.
You had a few.
Now I feel bad. I'm not gonna share it with you.
I'm a marketeer, right? But I know you practice what you preach, so I respect you for that.
Yeah, the second one is that...
you think you're shortening it now?
No. It's a concept. It's not a slogan and such, but the second thing is that number one was people that feel that law is so complicated,
yes.
and lawyers, they use very complicated terminology and they don't understand it. A very simple thing, we as a lawyer have the tendency of making it sound complicated because perhaps we want to justify the amount we are receiving from clients to say that, okay, we know all these words, so you need to pay us more. I don't do that. I use very simple language.
Yes.
The terminology that I have is very simple so that client would understand me perfectly. They don't need to ask me, okay, what did that mean?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Yes.
So that's number one. Number two is I know that most of lawyers, unfortunately, are not reachable. This is something that most of my clients, they tell me about their previous experiences, that we sign with a lawyer, then we're not going to see him. They're not reachable. They don't pick up the phone. So that day I decided to be the most reachable lawyer in town. That's what I'm trying to do. My mobile number is all over internet. They can find it anywhere. They can call me anytime. Not anytime though. I have some limitation, family, etc. But I'm out there. I'm on social media. That's the best way to communicate with me.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're busy, you call them back, right? But they can connect with you.
That's true. They can.
And I know you're busy.
They can reach me anytime. So that's the second one. And then the third one was to... Oh, you're going to take a note of the third one?
I like the second one most.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, connected. You're connected.
Yeah. The third one is to educate people to make them safe. That's my biggest mission. Make people safe, make them be aware of what they are not aware. Dariush, you won't believe, because in my mind, when I talk about something, I skip so many basic things, which it sounds basic to me, but it's not basic. So many people, they are not aware of that. Because I have been hearing this so many times, it turned out to me that it's something simple that I don't need to repeat it. But when I discuss it with people, they would tell me, even today, you know, I had a meeting prior to this, they told me that, Arash, this is a really mind-blowing thing. I never knew this. I never knew that I have to do this. Although I thought that maybe everyone knows this. So that's where I'm trying to fix, trying to put contents out so that people will become aware of this.
May I
please
share my experience with you? And that's why, honestly, I was like, you on my side. I love it. Recently, I got into a business partnership with someone, and it was very exciting. And I was the investor. They were going to put the expertise in. And the moment we got going, I just threw the money in. Okay, and I keep throwing money in, and then I didn't look at the legal side of things.
Okay.
And it came back to bite me 3 months later, because everything they had, I paid for. You see, and they didn't deliver their part. I was quite considerable amount of money down, and I know that we're working on another business that you're working with me. And the first thing you said was, before you start, get a legal right.
So true.
You know, and I know if I shared with you, and it was only December. I knew you then, yes, in Thailand. And if I'd come to you, and I didn't because it was in Thailand, I was thinking locality, duh. And you would have said to me, before you start, let's just write an agreement, deliverables, protect yourself.
So true.
And also, I think it's psychology, because maybe I've got an issue with money, because when I earn it, I take risks that are unnecessary.
You're a nice guy. That's where the problem is. Yeah, you are kind, and you see people
Only
the way
good,
that you
yes.
feel you are. Yeah.
Yes.
So trust is a good thing, but that's where a lawyer can help. Lawyer can always protect you, even at the time that you're just trusting. They can come in and try to put the legality in place.
Here's the thing I recognize with you, and this is not an advertisement, but it's true. When I avoid lawyers in generally because I find that I'm such an optimist that they're negative, and I'm repulsed by negativity. But when I sit with you, you say it how it is without making it sound negative. Maybe it's that simplicity, maybe not overcomplicating it, you see?
Yeah.
I feel that with you, I'm safe.
Thank you so much.
It's true.
I think it comes from the experience I had in a business.
Share, please share.
It could be that, because I used to work for almost 7 years as an in-house lawyer of a huge company. It was a group of companies. I was handling their legal department. The day that I started working with this company, they worked exactly the way that you were saying, all shaking hands and agreeing verbally, trusts, friendship, etc. And it was, don't get me wrong, it was a huge company. It's a
so some of those
billion dirham worth company. Yeah. So, but still, so many things were happening based on trust.
Yes.
So what happened is that I entered that company and I didn't have any business experience. I was purely lawyer-minded or legal-minded person.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And when I entered, I felt this is a chaotic situation. How I can save them. So I had a conversation with the chairman, and I told him that this is what I see. You guys need to fix it. Initially, he told me that, okay, Arash, you have my green light. Go ahead, do whatever is necessary. So I did that.
Again, he trusted you, right?
He trusted me.
You were wet behind the ears.
Well, yeah. The employment was totally based on trust. He really trusted me because he was a client before even joining him.
Is he still alive? Is he still with us?
Yeah, he's a very good person.
Nice.
I really learned a lot from him.
Nice.
Unfortunately, he's not in Dubai anymore, but yeah, he's around.
Amazing.
So what happened is that I started working with him, and then I made all those changes that I felt is necessary. But then at one point, he called me in. He said that, Arash, I need to have a conversation with you. I said, tell me. I feel there's something wrong, right? So he said that...
How long were you into the job?
I think I almost completed a year.
Okay. So he gave you time.
He gave me time. He gave me time, and I did dramatic changes in the.
Was there conflict before he came to? Could you feel there was conflict with people? You were asking questions. You were
no one was comfortable.
Nobody said anything.
No one was comfortable.
Really?
Of course, because they were so used to that freedom. No receipts, no logs, no nothing, no proofs, no nothing, right? So obviously, when you're trying to put some rules in place, no one will be comfortable.
Sure.
The chairman was okay because he knew my intention. At the end, cut the story short, is that he called me into that meeting and he told me that, Arash, I need to have a conversation with you. I said, tell me. We cannot continue like this. I could see the fear and the worriness in his face, yeah? We cannot continue like this. We will be out of business like this. I said, what? Because of what? Because of me? He said that, yeah, because the way that you are going forward, it's pure legal. What you are asking, there is absolutely no trust in it. Business cannot be done like that. So we have two options. Option number one is that you become someone like me and learn from me, or I become someone like you. I'm almost 70 years old. I'm not willing to change. You're younger, so I think you have only one option. Yeah.
Wow.
So I said, okay, I'm going to take that option. There's no. I'm always open to
option three would have been like, here's your P45. Get the hell out of the office.
Get out of the office. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, what a nice guy.
No, he really wanted to help. So let's do this. Let me teach me how to do business. Let me learn. So I started learning business. I came to all the business meetings.
Did you? I was going to say, did you follow in the meetings?
I did.
His feedback and his
everything. I was in the negotiations, sitting with him during his meetings, and trying to learn from the old guy, and all the tricks and the secrets that a businessman has in dealing with other people. And he learned. He taught me, and then after a while. I never forget, at one point he called me and he told me that, Arash, I just want to make sure that, are you considering the legal side of the matter also? Or are you just purely thinking about business? Wow. And no, don't worry. Wow. So I think it's a combination of business ideas or skills that I learned, and a combination of...
How long were you there?
7 years.
Wow, so you stayed for 6 years.
Yeah, I did.
Incredible.
I did.
Incredible.
Yeah. So maybe what you're referring to comes from that background, that I learned the business.
You get it. You get what goes through the mind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, so you said you went through some hard times trying to become a lawyer. Was it they wanted you to become a doctor or an engineer?
Oh, okay. Persians.
Is that what it is? Yeah, doctors and engineer.
So I grew up in a family. My parents, they just believe in one profession, and that is becoming a doctor.
Yeah. How did I guess? Yeah.
Unbelievable. So,
they're doctors.
In precise, my mom, we are 5 kids, 4 boys, 1 girl. So I'm the third, and my mom, of course, had a big say in this. So she.
Not on you being a boy. Or the third. Or being the third.
She was trying to convince us all that, hey, this is the profession that works. Your income is guaranteed.
Are they doctors?
No, they're not. They're not. But
so they do as I say and not as I do.
True.
Typical parents.
They didn't have the opportunity, perhaps. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't in their shoes, so I don't want to judge them. But they did us good by encouraging us to be educated, to get higher degrees, etc. So my first 2 brothers, they became doctors. One is in the States, the other one is here. Both doctors, very successful in what they are doing. I'm the third one. So I studied as well in order to become a doctor. But halfway, again, I had that realization moment.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah? What am I doing? This is not me. This is my parents. This is not what I want to be. I don't want to be a doctor. I hate wounds. I hate scars. I hate blood. I hate being in the hospital. How I can have an office in a hospital? That's not me. Decision is taken. I want to be something else. But wait a second. What am I want to be? What is the profession that I really want? So I start digging and digging and digging. And then I realized that I like helping people. I like protecting people. I like educating people. So either I can become a teacher, or I can be a lawyer.
Thank God you didn't think a policeman.
Oh no.
Can you imagine going to
I didn't go there. I didn't go there. I knew that my mom and my dad will kill me eventually if I say I want to be a policeman.
Then you put up a good case, right? You won the case. I'll be a lawyer.
So
I was good at that argument.
Imagine how this conversation went. I went to my mom the day that I tried to get all my courage in place and go and
of course they've been paying for your university, right? They've been paying.
Well, I didn't reach the university though. It was like
college
and high school. So we need to decide about which field we want to go. So that's why we need to study the right courses. So I went to my mom and told her that, Mom, I have a very important announcement. What is it? Mom, I don't want to be a doctor. What? You don't want to be a doctor? Where is this coming from? I want to be a lawyer. She turned her ears off. She wouldn't hear anything after that. You know, she didn't even hear the lawyer side. Huh? You don't want to be a doctor? Impossible. Are you out of your mind? Your brothers are becoming doctors. You don't want to be a doctor? What else you want to be? I said, Mom.
So the reaction is like, you're going to be a male prostitute, right?
Exactly.
You're like, no, it's not that bad, you know. Some lawyers are pretty...
I swear there was no distinguish between this and that. Yeah, it was exactly like that. So I told her that, Mom, do you realize that 98% of USA's presidents are lawyers and they have legal background? You're not going to be a US president. Why you are considered? I said, okay, but this is what I love. No, you have to be a doctor. Then I said, Mom, decision is taken. This is what I'm going to do.
So you would have been 18, 19.
17 years old? Yeah. So imagine, in 1 year that I had to double the number of courses that I have to take during my high school in order to be eligible to take the test and go to the university. Because we had the university back in Iran, you have to give a test to be enrolled. So the day that my dad went to take my diploma, the guy who handed over this diploma to my dad told him that your son is either genius or he's crazy. He said most probably is the latter. Then he said that why? He said because he almost passed double the number of courses that other kids do. Why in the hell did he do that? So yeah, because he wants to be a lawyer. That's why.
That's what your passion was.
Yeah.
And it's been like that ever since.
It's been there. No, I will be very honest with you. I had that passion for a few years, but then, as I said, you know, it went off, and then I was just doing what I was doing. No love, no passion, no nothing.
You got despondent.
But then after that waking up call, I think now it's all back to how it was before.
Amazing. We still have another 5 minutes. I'm going to stretch this a little bit. If you, I could be here for hours, by the way. I know you have to go. And I committed for you to go in before 2 o'clock.
Thank you so much.
Has there been, don't mention cases or particular, was there ever a travesty that you thought, this, I cannot believe, wrong one? Has there been a case where you thought something what didn't happen that wasn't right? Maybe you won the case, lost the case, whatever, or you were viewing a case and somebody who was truly guilty got away with it. And why do you think that happened?
Let me tell you this from this angle. I never ever, and I just don't preach this, I really practice this. You can ask from the clients who I dismissed their cases. I never take on side or take on cases that I don't feel they have the right. So I will never represent the wrongful side. I always represent the rightful side.
Yes, rightful being good values and decent.
The person who actually lost their rights, being affected by something. It could be anything, in commercial, in criminal, whatsoever. I represent the person who is on the weaker side.
Yes.
So that's why I would never see that from my own client that they are doing something wrong. I would see from the other side, the opponent's side.
Yes.
But yes, I have seen something very, very terrible happening to this gentleman that I just mentioned, that I worked with for 7 years. Something very, very bad happened. And unfortunately, it all happened because of trust.
Without being specific, could you just share so I can learn or the viewers can learn?
Well,
because we don't know who he is, we don't know his company, we don't know anything. So just an example.
The example is that
and the pain that came with it.
Trusting people with blank checks that you sign on a check, and the check is blank, no details in it. And you, perhaps you as a business owner, you might do this sometimes, which I would highly advise you not to.
Never. I have done before, but I burned this.
That's a good thing. So if you are traveling and you have a business going on, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you know you have payments that you need to.
And say, if there's any bills, just
let me know, and then put the amounts and just give it out. So doing that is not advisable at all, because if this check goes into the wrong hands, they can destroy your life. Basically.
Especially when they know this person's got money, powerful, whatever, and they did.
That's what happens, unfortunately.
And then he had to pay.
Well, I don't want to get too much into details, but the situation is that the moment you sign a check and you have agreed to release it, then whoever takes this check and puts any amounts, even if you are not able to pay it, you still be liable.
You have to honor it.
Yeah, you have to honor. The moment the check is signed, you have to honor that check, no matter what amount is mentioned in that check.
Even if it's not earned, or is an invoice or an agreement.
It's a very, very, very difficult situation, especially when the amounts are high, and then you have two sides of the check. You have criminal side of it, and then you have a civil side of it. Criminal side of it, the moment that you have signed the check that is not honored, you have committed a crime, and you will be punished for it. They don't ask you where, why, what's the reason behind it, nothing. You sign a check, you then honor it.
And things have changed, because I remember 10, 15 years ago, if that happened, you go straight to jail. But now you don't go to jail.
Well, still, there is a chance for people to go to jail because of check. It depends on the amount of the check. If it's below 200,000 dirhams, there's no jail term. There's only fine. But if it's above 200,000 dirham, there's still chances for being jailed.
I have one of those. Somebody wrote me a check and bounced it, didn't honor it. 1 point something million.
Okay.
And was found guilty criminal, and sitting the case, nobody could find him. He's in the country. He's not picking up the phone. Nothing. The CID called and said, "Where is his office?" They asked me. So I gave them the office. The phone number. So we turned up. It wasn't there, and that's never heard again. I don't know what to do.
Well, in this situation, if there is an arrest warrant issued against him and he is blacklisted, obviously he cannot leave the country. Whichever border he tries to leave the country, he will be arrested.
Yes.
He cannot go to government entities like courts, etc.
Yes.
He will be arrested. So there are so many limitations around him.
How can somebody find him?
Well,
because he could have just renewed his whatever, or be under the radar.
He can. We can never, unless if you have an investigator and you're searching for him.
Are there investigators available in this country?
There are,
Okay.
but mainly those investigators are working on for insurance purposes. Like, you know, there is some properties or commercial properties was burned. They will just go and do investigation.
Loss assessors and
yeah, but otherwise, then no. If they have a mobile number, you can just report it to CID that we know his mobile number. They can. The small amounts, they will not go that
1 million
deep.
is quite good, no?
No.
It's small. Is that small?
You know how many checks are being exchanged, and sometimes they will get bounced. So
I'm sure I heard somewhere that the Dubai police spend most of the time debt collecting than actually arresting criminals. They spend a lot of time going after people who bounce checks.
okay,
Yes, they spend a lot of the resources
yeah.
debt collecting.
What happens is that's part of the services that we also provide as a lawyer, that debt recovery. So that's what we do. If companies have debts toward others, we get in touch with them in terms of communication, serving legal notices, and then filing a case against them to recover those debts.
Do you do it fee plus success rate? Or
No, I don't do that.
You don't do success, just
No.
fees. Okay.
Yeah. And occasionally we accept those kind of cases, contingency plans we call them.
Okay.
That if we get a result, then we charge a certain amount.
Yes. Amazing. I had a bad experience with a lawyer. And do you mind if I share it?
No, of course no. I'll be happy. Because you know what, Dariush? I hear you, and then I try to not do the same thing myself.
Great. Because
it's a learning process.
Again, this was so crazy. There was a Ponzi scheme in here, and I was one of the investors, and they went bust. And was a big social media thing, and a lawyer went online and said, listen, I specialize in collecting the debts from this Ponzi scheme. So me and I think another 50 people met with this guy. We went, not individually, not as a group. We went to his office, and I never forget, it was a nice office in the IFC. We went to the receptionist, we sat down, and I wrote him a check on the spot, and he says, I'm very familiar with collecting this money. Phone me up again, so the court case charges this, I need another X fee. So, and I wrote the checks to him, and he gave me company receipts. Next thing I know, the social media group starts, 30 other people have written him a check, and he's disappeared.
The lawyer disappeared.
So, yes, I phoned up the company, and they said, oh, we found out that he's a fraudulent lawyer, and he's been cashing everybody's checks, and he's run off. So I said, hang on a second, I came, and we're not liable. I said, he gave me your business card with your details on it. I came to your office, I wrote the checks to you. I said, no, but lawyers can do that. He was self-employed or something, and you have to chase him.
Did you?
I think he went to jail.
Oh, the lawyer went to jail. Was he a lawyer, or he wasn't a lawyer?
He was a lawyer, yeah. And I pressed, because I own a marketing company, I pressed the firm, and they wrote me a check separately. Nothing compared to what I lost. I think maybe 50 cents to $1. But I got something that I know that other investors who lost didn't get, because they didn't
pursue it.
Yeah. And he heard, and then I heard that he was in jail, and I got a call about 6 months ago from a random guy saying, we got to pay your debt.
Okay.
I said, okay, let's see, and never heard from him again.
Okay, Dariush, I'm going to tell you something here. Perhaps your audience also will benefit from it. When you are appointing a lawyer, what is very important is that you need to make sure that this lawyer has the authority or has the entitlement of calling himself a lawyer. So us as lawyers, we have to be registered with Ruler's Court. There's a department called Department of Legal Affairs Department in Dubai. We have to be registered with this department. In order to be registered, our visas should be on a law firm. We have to be sponsored by a law firm. And then every year we have to go and take courses just to make sure that we are fully updated with laws and regulations in the country.
Yes.
We have a number, a registration number, which comes on our lawyer's permit.
Yes.
That number is something that the client can ask the lawyer.
He had that. He had those.
So he was a registered
lawyer,
lawyer,
sponsored by the company. I felt, in a way, sorry for the owner, managing partner. This lady was Lebanese and literally trusted this guy.
So in that situation, you cannot do anything, because he has all the qualification and entitlement.
Yes.
Yet he took the money and ran away.
I even tried the fact to go after the. Your advice is really important. Thank you to our viewers, because you can never be too sure. And I even went after the insurance of the law firm, saying, surely if your client loses due to fraudulence by one of your lawyers, I should be covered. They said no.
There's insurance in place for law firms.
Yes.
Like a malpractice.
Yes.
I don't know. I have to check that. Whether
though,
it's first time I've heard this, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we need to see whether the insurance will cover this or no.
Maybe I got sucker tattooed on my forehead. I don't know. That's why I need you.
You're a nice guy. That's the only thing.
But you know what I think? I think God loves me, and whatever I've lost, I've managed to survive and grow. So, but because when you, like you said, so optimist, you forget and you think, oh God, the signs were there. How could I do it? So that's why I really strongly believe that we need more lawyers who are optimists, lawyers who understand entrepreneurs, and I really feel, and I want to do this with you. Have you enjoyed the podcast, by the way?
I loved it. We're
going to do this
again.
You
are a very comfortable person to have a podcast.
Thank you very much. Because maybe because I'm just a cuddly guy.
No, you're
it's a chubby, cuddly looking teddy bear in front of you, right? But let's do this every 3 months. And we can do some educational stuff. We have a lot of viewers. So
we can do that.
I think 500,000 viewers. So
I would love that.
Let's
sure.
do that.
It would be a pleasure.
Thank you. And then maybe we can talk about, I don't mind sharing some of my cases. Well, nothing to hide. We can do that.
As long as you're sharing yours, it's all good. But I cannot share clients.
No, of course. There's just mine with my permission. Obviously,
of course.
not who we were against,
Yeah.
But it'd be good to learn lessons, right?
From it, yeah.
Because I think
valuable lessons. You're a
valuable.
person who's doing business. You have a big history of business behind you. So many companies that you have incorporated. So many companies already operating under your supervision. The experience that you have is very, very valuable for people that they are just starting business or they are a couple of years into the business.
Yes.
They can learn from this and try not to do the mistakes that you have done.
Yeah, exactly. I keep saying in a positive way. Like my mom says, "I told you." The last thing you want to hear is somebody remind you, "I told you so." Yes, but the way you do it though is so not hurtful because I'm already hurting anyway, right? So just help me out. So I really, really want as many people to connect with you, to watch you, to learn from you, use your services. So if anybody wanted to do that, how do they connect with you, Arash?
Best ways on social media. I'm active on all platforms, mainly on Instagram and LinkedIn. I go by the handle Arash Zad, ARASHZAD, no spaces, both on Instagram and LinkedIn. They can send me DM messages and follow the contents that I have created. So I try to create so many videos on different topics, which is totally educational, free of charge.
There's one tonight. Obviously, it's going to be too late, but there's one tonight at 7 or 8.
8:30 p.m. I'm going live, and I'll be answering questions live with my audience.
I'll be watching. An absolute honor.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine.
We won't shake hands. We won't spit. We won't do anything. We just go like this.
And we are keeping like more than a meter distance.
Yeah, I'm leaning. Unless every time I leaned, you went back. So you must be just overcoming that.
Social distancing. Respecting it.
Much love.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. See you at 8:30.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.